Hello everyone and welcome to Polytopia. So Polytopia now seems to have a new game mode. Or well, it will have a new game mode soon as that is properly released. But yeah, this is the beta for introducing weekly challenges. Repeatable single player games where everyone uses the same spawn settings, whatever, leaderboard, right. So yeah, Polytopia is going to be introducing this new game mode, which is more or less like a single player competitive game mode. It's really interesting because this game mode will actually feature points being like an important thing and the deciding factor and stuff like that. So that's very interesting. But it's now immediately the beginning of the week. So I'm not sure how these weekly challenges are going to reset, but hopefully there is a brand new weekly challenge I can play from the beginning. Weekly challenge, single player. Challenge where everyone plays the exact same settings. New challenge every week, one attempt each day. Complete the global high score. Yeah, right. So these are going to be weekly challenges that they will be resetting on Monday. So that's perfect. So these are like I think these are meant to be the scores on Monday, and I guess I'm to presume there's more than 100 people playing. So yeah, I guess the minimum at least amount of points to aim for is 5,000 to get on the leaderboard. I'm not sure how many more than 100 players there are here. 5,000 honestly doesn't seem like a lot. I at first thought there were supposed to be 30 turn limits, but then the patch notes are at 20. I'm not really sure. Yeah, so we'll have like 20 turns to make points. Yeah, 5,000 seems pretty doable for 20 turns now. Most people have like up to 10,000. Yeah, I guess those scores are pretty consistent, but there's this guy, cheater. Oh, I see. Yeah, this person quite a bit ahead of everyone else. I'm not sure if they are actually cheating. I mean, I don't know why you're cheating on freaking Polytopia beta. Anyway, so yeah, I'm kind of just opening the game and I'm going to play this for the very first time. I'm not sure how exciting it is going to be because it's basically going to be just perfection single player. I don't know what I clicked on just now. Okay, so it does show last week's winner. Yeah, so there was already one challenge here. In fact, this shows the last week was third. Now, I guess that means, oh, come on, game. This will be the fourth one today, which is strange because I swear the updates, like, well, the patch notes for the beta were out on the 15th. I don't know. I guess maybe this counts like some playtesting weeks. But yeah, basically, this game mode will be, again, single player perfection, but for the entire week, every day you get one chance to play the game per day, and it will be on the exact same map, with the exact same bots and exact same. Basically, whatever seed the game generates maps on, that will be like the exact same for every single day. I guess we'll see. So we're playing Quetzali. Also, 1 star. Our capital makes only 1 star. Okay, this is something new I don't think I've seen. So I'm not really sure what to do now. This is a and it's also on archipelago. So I mean, to be fair, what we gotta do? I think we've got to probably try and upgrade capital as quickly as possible, which maybe should be with fishing because it's archipelago, obviously. For the first one, I guess let's try and go for like the fishing route. Also, how many bots we're playing against? There's 4 other bots here. So I can see one of the bots is Chinchi, so that's this one. There's an aquarium, and 615 is Sebastian. I don't think we do anything else though. See, the 1 star per turn almost makes you think maybe it is worth getting a warrior, but also I don't think so. Let's try and go for this. So, okay, let's land this way, I guess. I'll try and just go for upgrade capital. Okay, that's perfect. Alright. I'm pretty certain taking fishing, so I'm just gonna go for that. So next turn we can capture here and upgrade. Now there's also now a possibility we could go for explorer, which could actually meet other tribes. So I guess let's see. So yeah, or do we take workshop, which should be like such a bigger boost to other economy right now? Okay, if I take workshop, I can upgrade the city next turn. I think that's gotta be worth it. All right, and we're on 20 out of 5. Yeah, I mean we're already at 1,000 points, but not fantastic. You make like no stars here. I wonder if that's like another factor that can change, like the amount of starting stars you can have in your place. We'll try and yeah, I'll put the pot here and go for that. how do we do this? I wouldn't mind climbing and just slapping something on this mountain. I think we'll try that. Alright, we're making some stars now at this point, so that's that. Oh, wait. GG doesn't. Okay, we just do this. That's funny. And that's okay. Our final score, I guess, okay. Last thing we can do is, I think, chain the defender. That gives 15 points. So I guess it's not bad for a first run, I think, at least. Anyway, finish game. So we did. Okay, okay, that's interesting. This is new. It's telling you what aspects gave you like what's how many points. And yeah, final score is this, which is rank 5. Not bad. Alright. Yeah, we're top 5. So I wonder actually, is it also league based? Is there actually more than one like league of 100 players? Because I want to see again in the beta. That would be surprising. I'm assuming okay in the beta I don't feel like it is, but maybe, I don't know. So anyway, yeah, now if we don't actually count the first place player, which yeah, I'm pretty certain this score is cheating somehow. I don't know how you cheated this game. I don't know why you would cheat this game, and much less in the freaking Polytopia beta. But I guess yeah, if we actually remove that, we're actually in fourth place, which is pretty good, I'd say. Anyway, I think you should also be able to watch a replay. Not really sure where. Oh, okay, this is the replay button. So yeah, now in over here, you can see the whole map and you can see where everything is. Yeah, so this will show like how the bots have been moving, right now. Anyway, I'm not sure exactly how interesting of a video this is gonna end up being, but I suppose I will try and play for the whole week. And then I think maybe we'll also just make a recording on the last day and show the optimal strategy, I guess, that I've ended up with. Alright, so the week is now over, and there is two particular games that I'm gonna show. This first one is going to be the highest score I managed to get to. And the first thing to note right before actually starting the replay, 2 stars. Around halfway through the week, the Capitals just inexplicably started just making 2 stars again, as is normal. I'm not sure what was really going on, but yeah, the Capitals did start making 2 stars normally, and that actually allows for so much more than what I ever got in the first run. So this is the highest point game. Let's see, first of all, because of the 2 stars, we can immediately start with a warrior. The beginning few turns in what we do are pretty specific. This is the first time I figured this exact start, and after this I haven't really gotten a better start, so yeah, so we train a warrior and move the defender onto this village in particular. Uh, we move that towards there, and obviously on turn 3 we still take fishing. Yeah, on turn 3 we can take fishing and upgrade because of the 2 stars, the capital making the normal income. So capture and upgrade the capital. Then we move the warrior onto the village, and I pass here without doing anything with the defender. Then I immediately place support and get the defender towards the through, and then I can upgrade the city, and I capture that city. And we do this in order to be able to immediately move the defender onto this ruin. Because, yeah, we also get the capital connection and see the boss play like this typically. And this run actually gives us stars, which is obviously very helpful, so that's why we immediately send the defender towards here. Well, that's part of why. So now we can actually connect with an upgrade capital with the port. And Chinchi does this. And Chinchi, by the way, one thing to pay attention to, they don't go for this village. I'll get into that later, but yeah, this is why we make this exact early game. Because Chinchi just doesn't go for this village. And yeah, we'll see next turn is, pretty good stuff start happening. So we can take sailing, upgrade these 2 ships, which we see that the basic has not actually trained the unit in this city. And we can also upgrade this to a scout, and see that this village is empty. And thus, we actually can just place our units in those cities, and we just get them immediately. Since she does that, the bossy moves. And yeah, on this turn, we can actually take both of those cities. Now what we do here is we get a scout to go here. We see Aquarian in Chinchi, and we can take Ramen and immediately siege Chinchi city. As our warrior slowly goes towards this village. Then we can take both of those cities and we can upgrade them. Oh, upgrade this one in particular. We still keep chaining warriors. Right. Then we have this scout move over here to kill that warrior. And we just keep moving our units. We take hunting before capturing the city because we will need it for this city. Well, we're gonna want it for this city. And we move and chain warriors. We send. At this point, chaining warriors in this city doesn't end up being too necessary, but I still do it in the first game. And we start sending warriors towards Chinchi. And one thing I don't really know where to mention, but also I think I'll mention it now. We don't take an explorer in any city at all because it's not necessary to take an explorer in order for us to explore the whole map. And that's why I figured we should just actually take only workshops. We upgrade this to a scout to go here, of course. And we can immediately kill this warrior, place stuff here, and start shooting here. And yeah, by the way, with this spawn, another thing that used to commonly happen, Zebasi very often got a wall in their capital. But yeah, with this spawn, they just don't. The boss do play consistently, but they do play on a specific RNG that's based on other things that have happened through the game. So the exact movements you're gonna make in the beginning of the game will actually cause the boss to behave differently when they start the game. We move this. Chain more warriors towards Chinchi, and we captured this city. We obviously already didn't upgrade it. So we go here, the scout gets the vision of the lighthouse, and we can siege the Basti Canton siege. We're going to go for navigation next turn, so we prepare some units on the starfish. And in here we can already siege Chinchi's capital. On the same turn we siege the Basis capital. We upgrade the city, and we upgrade the city as well. For which, I believe it's this turn? Not necessarily. We upgrade capital and take border growth in it. The Basi Canton siege. Query moves. And yeah, from this rune we get stars, which allows us to, well, first of all, we take navigation. We had that before as well. We go through this ruin, upgrade more cities. I believe this is where we get our connection monument. And yeah, before capturing these cities, we also take meditation. Because with this opening, we actually can't go for philosophy. Well, we did go for philosophy in the previous game as well, actually, but we'll be able to do even more. So we go for meditation before capturing here, which honestly leaves us with not enough stars to actually upgrade the cities currently. And over here, I actually do a really big mistake by the end of the turn. We'll show it in a bit. And over here, we also actually start hitting Aquarium. We're gonna actually start attacking them next. So over here, I did a really big mistake last turn because that's something I ended up doing in a turn or two. I was planning to put the connection monument I just got. I was planning to put that in this city and upgrade it immediately. And yeah, I didn't do that. I forgot. If I didn't forget, not only would have been able to upgrade the city immediately, I would have been able to upgrade one of these cities for stars as well. Would have probably had way more stars in this one in particular by the end of the game. But I'll get into, yeah, we'll get into later on why I ended up doing that. But yeah, we take stars. This one gives us occultism. Pay attention, by the way, to what the ruins give us. We place a port here which actually gets 2 connections. So we upgrade the city and we can also take a part in our capital. Alright, this is where I do remember to place my Grand Bazaar. So it's not that much of a loss, but it is effectively, well, I guess it's a 3-star loss because we didn't make a ton of income from the city, but we also could have used the stars to upgrade this immediately and take a workshop. So okay, 3 stars, to be fair, may not have necessarily made a big difference, but it could have. So, right. And another very particular thing that is actually part of the reason why this particular run is the highest scoring. Aquarium trains a shark in their world capital over here. But yeah, they chain a shark here, and I immediately just get the vision and see that there's a shark, and I can immediately siege there with the warrior, and they actually can't quite unsiege. Their warriors are a bit far off. Well, actually, no, they can. That's the thing. They are well, they can. They have this, but we'll see. They won't. And we change some more warriors, which at this point don't end up being necessary at all. But yeah. So what Aquarian does here is, well, they send these warriors forward. They have a siege on their capital, but they don't because they're stupid. And yeah, they also move their warriors here, their units here in the back in a very strange way. And they also put this warrior here. I'm pretty sure they're actually population locked in the city, but they do place their warrior here, which actually allows me to go for a siege this turn immediately. And they actually don't quite have the units to unsiege here. So we'll be able to capture the city next turn, which is actually very huge for the particular turn we capture it. We'll explain that. I will explain that next turn. Yeah, we take this ruin. It gives us forestry. Yeah, we'll get explain later. We put a port here and we upgrade, of course. We use this connection, this port connection here, and we upgrade the city. And we take philosophy on the turn before we capture here. So Aquarian hits my defender here, not really doing much. Now, a particular huge thing here is that we have meditation, and thus we have this pacifist quest, which we need to not make attacks for 5 turns in a row. And what really matters here is something I did just discover in this game, but first we'll take organization, we'll first do some other movements before capturing, because we do want to take some text. So we also go for mathematics, and I do have some very particular things. But anyway, we capture here, and it turns out that capturing a city doesn't actually ruin the pacifist quest. It doesn't count as an attack. I don't know why it doesn't count as some sort of an aggressive action, but it doesn't. So because I also didn't make any attacks against Aquarian, obviously on this turn, I will actually get the pacifist monument on the last turn of the game. I will just get it. And so I will actually have almost every monument in the game. The only one I will not have is going to be the genius monument. Anyway, we go here, we get the lighthouse, which also at this point unlocks us the explorer monument. And yeah, now we've completely gotten rid of Aquarian. We don't really have anything else to spend the stars on this turn. So we do that. What we do now is, I mean, we go for the starfish now, obviously. We can get the last few tiles here, and what I go for now is roads and trade. And we at this point go for trade, not only because it gives us the wealth monument, which we can actually get. We go for that, and on this particular turn, I can also set up some markets that do eventually pay each other off. Like these, we'll set up a few markets here. They will actually pay themselves off. With these particular populations. Now, again, in this first game in particular that I'm doing, I didn't quite count some stuff correctly, and I do make slight misplays. Like I end up floating some population that I could have avoided. But yeah, no matter what, we do this. We go for some kind of odd upgrades here. So we can upgrade the city, we chop some places, we go for mining, which actually didn't need to go for on this turn. I made some misplays here. What I go for now is I place a monument in this city in order to take border growth here for cheaper. And what I attempt to go for now, well, first I do this. And that gives me a park. And I place a market right here. Which, to be fair, this market also still pays itself off. So this market is still good. It technically, these markets make 3 stars per turn. We have 2 more turns of income. So these markets do make me stars. That's not bad. And then we also take a park in our capital. Now, a particular thing with this turn is I can't spend too many of my stars because I need to next turn have 100 stars for the trade, for the wealth monument. So I can only spend like about half of these stars. Now, what I still attempt to do on this turn, which is a big misplay, here is, well, I play some stuff, right? But I attempt to go for more markets, even though there is one turn of income I'm gonna get, right? And to be fair, this market, I get 4 stars on this market. It's a good market, but I'm going to have only, it costs 5 stars to place, and I have only one turn to make stars, so I lose a star by placing this. Anyway, we place a monument here and we upgrade this city for a park. Obviously, the stuff we normally do. And yeah, we get 108 stars, which actually will give us the wealth monument again. So we upgrade this city with a port, and I think we also have to. Well, first we'll take farming, upgrade this. We actually do need farming for a couple of particular places. We take border growth. Take as much border growth as possible because, I mean, yeah, getting more towns is pretty good. We get a park in this city. We get a park in this city. We get a park in this city with the monument plus the farm. That's one thing I forgot to do on definitely the first game I played. But yeah, you definitely are supposed to chop every forest in your territory that you're not using, because forests don't give any stars in your territory, so you should chop them for stars, which you used to get some sort of points. Anyway, yeah, I'll have to upgrade this pretty inefficiently with the monument plus support. But yeah, we do that and we'll take border growth, which I can get without even using the monument yet. So there's that. And I'm finally able to go for another park here in this city with the resources plus the wealth monument. Then I'm able to, I think this is the last forest I chop, and I just train some more units to, spend my stars. Now, I also, again, this was still like somewhere half the week, so I just did something silly like training this mindbender here just because I wanted to see how many points it gives. By the way, all of the units do give exactly 5 points for each star that they cost. So yeah, anyway, I mean, I missed 5 points right then and there. Whatever. Anyway, and this is the final score. This is the highest score I managed to get to. And this I will now get into a particular problem I found playing through this game. So anyway, we can get the ending screen. Alright, next I do want to show you this game, which is I think the game that I played before the one I actually got the highest points. This is actually the first game I played after the capitals started giving 2 stars, and in this game I still didn't decide to actually train a warrior on turn 1, and because of that difference in how I played, I just want to show you the difference in the way the bots play. So first of all, I think it's turn 5 where Zebasi upgrades their capital, which that does happen consistently through every game that I've played. Zebasi does always get their capital upgraded on turn 4, but in this game, they actually take a wall. But regardless, for example, in this game, they're gonna be harder to take out. The other major difference which we can see on turn 5 is Chinchi actually moves onto their city. One thing you actually probably could notice is that the boss actually play sometimes completely nonsensically, and a lot of the games, Chinchi does not actually step onto the first village they discover when they climb onto the mountain. They literally just don't go for it in half of the games. But in this one, when we don't train the warrior on turn 1, they actually do go for it. And thus, obviously, we can't just get it for free. And another pretty significant difference this game is Aquarian, on the other hand, doesn't actually get the wall in their starting capital, but instead they actually take strategy. They even give me a peace treaty through the game. And another huge difference, obviously, is the fact that on turn 7, Zebasi chains a warrior in their city, which, to be fair, that's reasonable because we literally place a defender next to the city, but all those slight differences in how the bots play can actually drastically change what you can do. And unfortunately, the bots do often tend to play completely differently based on some of the actions that you have done. Now, something else that is supposed to be 100% consistent is ruins. But ruins, just like the bots, can actually give you different awards on different points of the game, which at first shocked me because ruins are always supposed to give you the same reward, but they definitely were giving me different awards based on I don't even know what. I think ruin rewards change based on the turn or the order you actually harvest them in, or both. It's definitely not just the order you harvest them in, but I also don't think it's just the turn either. There were games where I harvested ruins in the exact same order, but they gave different awards. And I think there were games where I harvested a specific ruin on the same turn, and it still gave me a different reward than what I got otherwise. But the particular examples are the ruin that's on the mountain in Zebasi's territory. In the run where I scored the most points, and in the run that should have been the most optimal one, it was giving me either forestry or mathematics. Now, that I think made perfect sense because I think that that ruin wants to give mathematics in that situation. But if I don't actually have forestry unlocked, it would unlock forestry because that's the tech before that one. Or forestry happens to be the fallback reward. And that I think made perfect sense. But you may remember that in the very first game that I played, it actually gave me mining. And there was and in the last game I'm going to show, it actually gave me archery. I have no idea why it was giving me different rewards, but it was 100% giving me different rewards. And also, that rune in particular, basically every time I harvested it, I had the exact same text unlocked. I had both hunting and climbing unlocked. And the only difference was whether I had unlocked forestry or not at that point. But the rune did still once give me mining, it once gave me archery. I have no idea why. The other ruin that was really misbehaving was the one on the corner of Zebasis continent, and in my most optimal games, I try to harvest that ruin exactly on turn 13, on the turn I'm taking navigation, because that's how I got stars out of it originally. But there was one time where I tried to actually go for the ruin as early as possible, which I think was turn 6 or 7. It was right after I had captured Zebasis city, and I tried to go for that ruin as early as possible, actually landing my scout on it. And that ruin, instead of stars, I think gave me occultism, which caused the ruin right at the edge of the map, which always gave me occultism, to actually give me archery instead. Yeah, I don't know what's with archery either. Now this finally leads me into the game that I actually played on the final day, which actually scored less points than the game that I actually played that scored the highest. The game that scored the most was the one I made halfway through the week, where I made a lot of misplays, and thus I later on was trying to correct them. But every time I would try and play more optimally, the bots would behave in a different way, and the rules would sometimes give me a different reward, which caused me to actually get way less points. So I figured that the first 5 turns that I made had to be basically identical every single time in order to get the pretty amazing starting position where we can get a lot of villages free immediately, because the boss just didn't go for them or didn't train units. And yeah, I also had to even try and occasionally stall out what ruins I get in order to actually collect them at the exact time I would know for certain that I will get a specific reward out of them, to points where I probably didn't even need to in some situations, but I just decided to do it anyway. There were still some things that I could have done more optimally in this game, which I didn't do just because at this point was, some of the final days, and I was afraid the bots would just play in a different way, where I wouldn't be able to actually play in the same way and take them out as quickly. So that leads me into the final game, where I had to still basically one for one replicate the exact way I played every single time. The things I managed to do more optimally in this game were: on turn 8, I don't actually need to upgrade a scout in order to siege Sebasia's capital immediately, so that saved me 5 stars. With those 5 more stars, we can actually get a scout that will only review Chin-Chi, will get only 1 of the meeting stars, but with those 5 stars, we can still afford ramming on that turn, and it also turns out that Chin-Chi had not actually even trained a warrior in their city, so we can just get a scout and immediately siege there as well, which also conveniently gets us to meet Aquarian as well. Another thing I forgot to mention is that on this turn I take hunting even earlier than last time, which saves me 2 stars. Then moving our warrior and defender still allows our scout to get to the position that it needs to be otherwise anyway, and we can still go for everything just as we normally do. Now, one more particular annoying thing that Zebasi kept doing every game that I played, this warrior in the game that scored the highest, they didn't move it at all, which actually obviously allows for my warrior to just be able to immediately kill and get next to their capital. Now, one annoying thing they kept doing here was they kept moving it forward into my city's territory, and so my warrior was slowed down a turn. And yeah, the way I had to compensate for that was I had more meticulously sent rafts and ships towards Zebasi, and I am able to get a rammer in order to actually be able to siege their capital on the same turn that I do normally. Turn 12 is the turn I managed to siege Zebasi's capital and also Chinchi's capital, which I actually don't even need climbing for. And this is also the turn where I actually hold my warrior and I don't capture the ruin it's on in order to make sure that on turn 13 I am going to get the 10 stars and I am going to use them for navigation, which I mean I do have the navigation anyway, but now, turn 12 is also the turn where I managed to get the connection monument with enough ports, which actually is, first of all, I believe one turn earlier than what I get it in a high scoring game. And also, I do remember to this time place it for stars immediately. Now, in order to explain what I do next, I need to first explain the reason for why I haven't been able to get another game to actually score as high as the game I had halfway through the week. And that's because as soon as turn 13 hits, which is when I capture both Chinchi and Zebasi, and also get basically every other city but Aquarion's two cities, as soon as this turn hits, I need to start taking out Aquarion. Because I need to capture Aquarion's last city on turn 16. I need to be able to do that in order then to have 5 turns pass and get the peace monument. If I don't actually capture Aquarian's last city on turn 16, I will not get the peace monument, which is actually ended up being the deciding factor in points for me to be able to beat my score. Um, Basically every other time I've tried to optimize my game. And I have tried as hard as possible to start attacking Aquarion as soon as possible on turn 13. And I have gotten close to taking them out. In fact, just before this game, I did manage to siege their city, expecting the siege to hold for the final turn on turn 16, and Aquarian just had enough to unsiege because they had randomly stockpiled like 4 different warriors back behind their last city along with their veteran swordsmen that they keep there. And as hard as I tried, I could not manage to once capture Aquarion on the turn I had to. And that's why in this game I attempted to do a different approach. I attempted to, after I capture Chinchi and Zebasi, I attempted to then wait 5 turns and kill Aquarion after I get my peace monument. Which, to be fair, that could have worked, and it actually probably would have scored me more points, but since I was trying that for the first time, I also definitely played very suboptimally and, had to try and remember to do some other stuff earlier, and thus I ended up not playing too well, and yeah, I messed up in a lot of ways. Now, the first major problem comes from I decided to, since I'm not getting Aquarian right away, I should instead start going for philosophy sooner, which I think wasn't necessarily a bad call. But yeah, I spend all my stars taking climbing and meditation this turn before I capture, and I don't even have the stars to actually upgrade my cities again. That is questionable whether it was worth because it getting climbing and meditation this turn saves me 3 stars. And I suppose okay, not upgrading one of the cities loses me 2. It may have been worth indeed. The turn where I really do a misplay is turn 14, where I immediately decide to take philosophy, which, first of all, isn't necessary at all. Now, it kind of is because I am going to want to typically take philosophy and then take forestry in order for the mountain ruin to give me mathematics. as I already explained, I won that ruin to give him mathematics. At the same time, though, I didn't actually have to take philosophy immediately on this turn because it's not like I'm capturing a city, first of all. And second of all, I very much missed on a lot of upgrades in all my cities because I could have, first of all, placed a port to connect the new city I capture to take workshop there. I should have upgraded that, which actually also connects it plus the Zebasi, the former Zebasi capital with my capital, and I actually could have taken a park there as well. So I'm pretty sure it would have been worth to spend first 11 stars this turn, which also would have given me the 4 more stars per turn. That probably would have been better. And yeah, on the following turn, I very much did have the stars to take forestry, and yeah, I very much would have had the stars to have taken both philosophy and forestry. Would have still not been a problem. So I very much should have done that. Plus, it would have also gotten my defender on the water way sooner, which actually very much would have mattered. And another thing that I tried to avoid, but I, retrospectively shouldn't have, is I decided to not land my scout on to get the ruin because I thought I could have used the scout later on and it would have saved me points to not actually land it. And since I'm waiting a bit more anyway, I thought I would just get the ruin with the warrior anyway. Now, first of all, I actually forgot to move my warrior towards the ruin anyway, so that's another misplay I just casually did there. Even if I had moved the warrior, I wouldn't have been able to get the ruin on the turn I was able to capture the previous one. Which again, as I already mentioned, the ruins sometimes just give you different stuff, and this ruined this time, instead of mathematics, which I specifically took philosophy into forestry in order to get math out of the ruin as soon as possible, this time the ruin decided to give me archery. The things I mentioned before were definitely also big misplays as well, but this is probably the main thing that actually ruins this run from this point on. So next I do obviously remember to do the other things I needed to do, like upgrade my city with the port and upgrade my capital, take parks there. I at least then remembered something that I also was forgetting to do before typically, which was that as soon as I have my second park, I should have used it in the former Zebasi's capital in order to take a park there as soon as possible as well. Which I would have also been able to do that on turn 14 as well. So that's like 6 whole stars I've missed on just from that. Which, by the way, they do actually eventually matter for the late game. So in the next few following turns, I more or less try and prepare the same thing I did before. I still eventually go mathematics and place my 2 markets. And also I start chaining units in order to destroy Aquarian as quickly as possible. Which, that at least I am successful at. I do manage to take out Aquarian before the game ends. But another big thing I also miss out on is two whole starfish that I genuinely didn't think Aquarian could actually take, because Aquarian at that point had never gotten navigation before, but lo and behold, in this exact game, they actually did take navigation and they have it the two starfish. But that's another misplay I actually did, because I could have actually stepped on one of the starfish and taken it before Aquarian had navigation, and I still wouldn't have missed on those 8 stars. And yeah, again, those stars actually did matter for the last turn. They did prevent me from taking one extra park. If I had more stars, I would have very much had the population to take a park in one more city. That, by the way, actually would have been enough to actually get me a higher score than what I had originally, even with this botched thing. So, honestly, if any one of those things that went wrong that game didn't actually go wrong, I actually think I would have been able to score higher because I was only 80 points behind of my highest score. So honestly, if any of those things that went wrong didn't go wrong, even with all the misplays I made, if I had actually gotten mathematics out of the ruin that is supposed to give me mathematics, I actually would have still beaten my score. But yeah, that's as much as I was able to score. So after all, my best score is 16,830 points. And yeah, I very much could have gotten better, but I didn't. And when I scored this at first, it was like 4th place. And yeah, by the end of the week, it had dropped to 9th. And yeah, I I'm pretty sure I could have beaten like at least the three scores in front of me. I mean, the number 8 place had 55 more points than me. Even 17,000, 17,100. I probably could have beaten those scores. I mean, yeah, I was 80 points off of my final score. Even in my final game, which I don't even think was the most optimal one I had, if in that game I would have been able to get one more park, I mean, that would have scored me like 500 more points. So I would have been in sixth place effectively. It's probably possible I could have even gotten to fourth and fifth place. Now, it is interesting because the first three spots actually do have a very significant increase in points from 17,500. The next score is 19,000. This is almost 20,000, and the number one place is 21,000. So I believe these people are using a completely different strategy. And I don't just believe. The number one place actually does very much use a completely different strategy, which actually does score you well more points. And anyway, I hope I described that actually trying to optimize for everything was very annoying and you kind of couldn't really do it because if you got some sort of a game that did score very highly, but because of, some way that the bots moved, even if you actually went and actually played better, if the boss just played in a different way that doesn't let you do the same stuff, you're still not going to be close to getting the points you had once. Now, with the bots I get, because you obviously do expect the bots to actually play differently based on things you do, right? For example, like Zebasi, if I have a defender right next to their city, that would obviously make them more likely to train a unit in that city so that I don't directly put my unit there. Like, again, that all makes sense. And they actually technically have vision on the entire map. So technically, the way you move differently, like that probably influences their AI somehow. Like that makes sense. It's kind of for the purposes of this game, it can sometimes be pretty silly that causes them to play so differently, which can matter so much. That at least makes sense. But with the ruins, I genuinely have no clue why they just give you different rewards. I have no idea what really even causes them to give you a different reward. I have none, so yeah. Anyways, that is just about everything that I wanted to say for these challenges. I don't think I'll be able to make another video on them for the next few weeks, so at least while they're in the beta. But yeah, I may make more videos about them when they're fully released, at least for some more particularly interesting weeks, because currently all of the challenges so far seem to be specific on archipelago maps, which I'm not sure it's that fun. They seem like they're always tribes that are pretty limited on such a map. I don't know if that's intentional, so that you can score as highly as you would be able to on a more favorable map. But yeah, if there is a particularly very fun weekly challenge at some point, I will actually try and probably make a video about it, but won't be soon. So yeah, end the video.